Hello world. How you guys doing? Listen, I'm excited because we have another roundtable discussion, and it is on very oh, let me put this out. Very important topic on tonight or today. I'm sorry, this morning, and it's about prescriptions, right? So I am going to allow my guests to come on up. We're waiting on one to come back in the room. There we go. So, guys, please help me welcome two ambassadors that has the leverage to talk about this topic. They said, Dr. Pitts, we want to join you in this discussion, and it is Mr. Jonathan McFarland and Mr. Carl Scott. How are you gentlemen doing on today?
Great day, everybody. What's going on?
Outstanding. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to just dive into this topic. I think it's a very important one because, man, prescriptions they're crazy, right? You know, I want to play a clip really quickly. I want to set the tone of this discussion today. I'm gonna do something a little bit different, but I'm gonna play a little bit of it. I don't want to play the whole thing because it is a little long, but I do want to play a little bit of this clip. I think this would be a great start to our topic on today. Guys, where is it at? I won't let us play because of the I can add it up here. So I can add it up here. Video file. There we go. Let me add it up here. All right, here we go.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys a question. He's asking me questions all night. I'm going to ask you a question. All right. Raise your hand if you think that the American healthcare system is working. Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is not working. All right, let me rephrase the question. Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is working well. Anders, how many people are raising their hands?
None.
Raise your hand if you think the American healthcare system is broken. Raise your hand.
Majority, everyone.
Not a majority, virtually everybody in the room.
Yeah. I can see behind that guy. But.
And that is, all right, question again. How many nations, wealthy nations in the world, do not guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Anybody know the answer? Which country? All right. Now, you're not going to hear much about that on corporate television. You're not going to hear much about that in the United States Congress. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. 85 million of us are uninsured or underinsured.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. But then there's another one I want to play, right? This is the one I should have played first, guys. But there's another one I want to play that's going to really dive into the topic of what we're going to be talking about today, and it's this one right here.
Companies own or control a health insurance division? Raise your hand. Please keep your hand up if you also employ healthcare providers or own clinics, specialty pharmacies, or any other kind of medical practice or pharmacy. Please keep your hand up if you also own or control a pharmacy benefit manager. And please keep your hand up if you lead a publicly traded company at which you have a legal responsibility to maximize shareholder value. So we've established on the record that the largest health insurance companies are not just insurers. They are also medical providers and pharmacies, diagnosing and deciding treatment for patients. They are also PBMs, another form of middlemen managing drug benefits. They are increasingly controlling every aspect of our healthcare system.
Man, listen here. Listen here. This is going to be a good topic on the day, gentlemen. Listen, I want to preface to the audience that this is an educational conversation. No pressure, no selling. I want you guys to, for the viewers, drop in the chat. What's one thing that shocked you at the pharmacy counter? What is one thing that shocked you at the pharmacy counter? I'll give you mine. My mother's a Medicare and Medicaid recipient, and due to the change in what happened as of January 1st, my mother's prescription used to be $5 for her prescriptions. Do you know that now they're $75? The same prescription that she's been taking. Now, I remember at one point it was free, right? Because she had got on Medicare. And then it went from free to $5. It was $5 for a couple of years. Now it's $5 to $75. So that was my shocking piece. I know, Jonathan, you have a son, right? And I know he has gotten sick. I remember there was times that he has gotten sick. But just talk to me about your thought process, Jonathan, on what's your take on prescriptions and the pharmaceutical companies that are in the marketplace today?
Well, Doc, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I feel like they squeezing every penny out of us because at the end of the day, they want what they want, and that's the money from the low end people or the middle class families. In the sense of, hey, you gonna go to the doctor, so in order for you to get healed, you're gonna have to pay for your prescription, right? So, and if you really want that healing within yourself, then if you want the medicine to work, you're gonna pay for it, regardless of how much it costs. And so, is that fair to the people? No, it's not, because at the end of the day, if I can't afford it, then that means I'm just gonna sit here and deal with the situation that I'm dealing with. Am I gonna sit here and instead of being able to go to the pharmacy and pay $5 or get it free and get healed within the week, I gotta wait 2 to 3 weeks for this thing to roll itself out my body or whatever the case may be, and that makes you want to go and Google some home remedies. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, if I can't afford it, let me find somebody that got some leaves or some herbs or something to where I can get this stuff out my, just like how they used to do back in the day. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's a tragedy. It's sad. It's sad.
Absolutely. Man. And I want to preference this, and Mr. Scott, we can dive into this a little bit. There's 5 reasons RX costs feel out of control currently right now. There's prices that vary by pharmacy, insurance formularies change, deductibles reset annually, brand versus generic confusion, and then people don't know what to ask for. So, when you hear that, Mr. Scott, what kind of comes in your mind when we talk about those things? I know a lot of people think that, because it's a name brand drug, it works better, not understanding that all they did was take the same drug and put it in a different bottle. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm a holistic practitioner, right? And that's what my belief system is, right? But Mr. Scott, talk to us a little bit about what your feelings are about, when you hear about those 5 things. What comes to your mind?
I'm glad, first off, to be on this discussion. And when you put it in the chat group, I said, man, it's time. I have a big theory when it comes to this particular subject, and I think it's going to hit home to both of you gentlemen here on the line. But I believe, number one word, greed. Mm-hmm. It starts at the pharmaceutical industry. If you really think about it, guys, when it comes to the way that they assess and analyze the industry, it's based on capitalism in the first place. That's first and foremost. So if we really put our capitalist head on, we're going to understand this theory is that first they analyze how many people can we get on repressed medication so that we can collect a residual on a certain amount of the masses of people in this country. If it's 1 billion people on a repressed medication that they have to take to stay alive, on such things as cancer, think about the number 1 ailments and the most profitable amount of money that they make on the number 1 causes of death in this country, right? And the masses of people that catch it. Cancer is first and foremost, right? Stress, depression. You have more kids now that are experiencing autism. right? All of these things are pushed by the foods that we eat on the massive level. And some of the stuff that we eat, we really can't control because we're on the go and they know it. So you're going to stop off every now and then and eat it anyway. The air you breathe, where the power lines are, all those kind of things that affect us getting those ailments that are hugely profitable to the pharmaceutical industry. Guys, let's face it, we've seen cancer, HIV. You go up the list and talk about things that they still have, quote unquote, we don't have a cure for. But Magic Johnson, Charlie, Charlie, what am I thinking, guys? Charlie, what is his name on the sitcom?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Both of them flew out of the country, and they came back, and what? I don't have any more. But who did you see? We don't know. Those people don't want to come out of there and say those things. But say where that all plays in together is that when they know they're bringing in multi-billions of dollars on a monthly basis, residually and passively, we aren't going to stop that. So therefore, when you see, and no knock to Susan G. Komen's Breast Cancer Foundation to find a cure, that becomes a tagline, not something that you will ever really see happen, because who's stopping that from happening? We don't want a cure. That's $1.5 billion coming in a month for all the people that take the medication. We're not going to let a cure come in this country for that. But we'll make it look like they're running for a cure.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I'll just say that, when you think about the pharmaceutical industry and why the cost is going up, and you said earlier, you got your brand versus your generic. They are the same in that bottle, but because we're so capitalistic in this country, everything is driven on, I got the favorite brand jeans or favorite brand clothes. People are looking for the brand. So all of that is psychological. And when you get it out to the masses of people and you put that theory in their head that they have to have a brand, capitalism capitalizes on that. We're going to push that narrative. Why? Because the masses of people are going to take it on a monthly basis and they're going to pay more for it. And they're going to be happy to pay more for it because they feel like they're taking the brand and somebody's looking at them and checking them out and making sure they look good. That's just the theory. We could go on about that, but
I'm so glad you went there, Mr. Scott. That was perfect. Which I want to give the audience 5 common RX mistakes people make. Number 1 is filling at the same pharmacy without price checking. Right, guys, it's important that you can't think that what you carry as far for insurance, whether you have it or you don't have it, that you think that the prescription is going to just be extremely low, right? The second thing is not asking for generic options, because again, I'll give you my theory that it's the same drug, right? The third one is not asking about cash price versus insurance price, right? We could talk about that. That's a whole nother topic. And Jonathan, I kind of want you to kind of expound on that piece, the cash price versus insurance price. And I'll set the stage by basically saying, are you guys aware that if you have insurance, right, they'll charge the insurance more, but if you don't have insurance, they'll charge you less. That math don't math, right? The fourth one is waiting until they run out to rush decisions. And then number 5, not using available discount options that are available to you. So, Jonathan, talk a little bit about that in regards to, what your take is on cash price versus insurance price.
Well, first I want to expound on you have not because you ask not. Because at the end of the day, it's really about research. What you research, what you what you actually look up to help you in your situation. But for me, cash price versus I'm sorry, but for me, bro, it's like I'm gonna go off what Brother Carl said. It's greed, man. Like at the end of the day, the insurance company, they're going. I got to share a story so it can make sense. I went to the doctor with insurance one time, and I went to the doctor without insurance. And when I went to the doctor with insurance, the doctors was all in the room. I had the experience. They was trying to see what can they do, what can they get, because I know something from what my mom told you. They can't charge you until they touch you. So in the sense, you got to understand and know what it is when you go there, and when you have that experience, right? And so then when I went without it, it's almost like they just gave me a Band-Aid and sent me out the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I feel like it's just greed, because they're going to get the most out of you at what they can. It's just like when when a woman has a baby, you really don't know how much the hospital is going to charge you until you ask those questions, right? Because they charged my wife and I, they charged us for my son from skin to skin. Like as soon as he came out, my wife, they charged us from the touching for my son and my wife holding. They called that, I forgot what they call it, but they charge you for that. That is actual a price that they charge you for. So I'm relating that all together in the sense of the reason they charge you more is because they want to milk as much as they can, but then they charge you less because they know they can't get nothing out of you. So they're gonna get what they can out of you. You see what I'm saying? So it's a crazy concept, but at the end of the day, we really have to understand what it is that we're getting ourselves into when we go to the hospital and get prescribed and get these prescriptions. And we have to ask the right questions and have to know the knowledge of, okay, when I go in here, I need to ask this, that, and the third. Just don't go in there and let them tell you what it's like. Don't let them tell you what they want you to hear. You got to know the information for yourself. Know the information for yourself, so then when they tell you something, you're already educated on what it is that they're going to give you or what it is that they're going to prescribe you. Because if not, you're going to go in there, you're going to pay $80 for something that ain't even helped you. And now you wasted your money. You see it?
Absolutely.
Right?
And
So, yeah, so I digress there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to expand upon one segment of that. The game is real, okay? First off, Dr. Casual, I'm going to say something to you that you should be able to resonate all day on. The game is repressed medications to the masses and masses of people and profiting on that on a monthly residual basis. Remember that once you've tasted residual, it's the marriage that you will never divorce.
Yeah.
Am I real? Come on now.
Yep.
We got to get real with it. It's the residual you will never get a divorce on. You will never give the ring back to her.
Nope.
You're going to keep the spigot on as long as the season and the land allows you to, okay? And then you're going to self-mentally justify why it is you want to keep that spigot on to the detriment of other people around you. And that's what the pharmaceutical corporations do. And if you want to hint to that, what about all the times that the doctors get the kickbacks from Pfizer and different corporations out there that, hey, if you prescribe these meds to your patients, we're going to make you a lot of money. And that has happened in the medical industry. We know that has happened. And so we have to watch those things as we see it out there, because it's out there, and you just have to have an awakening moment to see that that's why this is happening, right?
Absolutely. No, that was perfect, Mr. Scott. And guys, I want to give my audience, I want to give you 5 smart questions to ask the pharmacy, because here's the thing, and it's a reality. When we are dealing with purchasing things such as homes, cars, anytime you have to spend your money in this kind of ecosystem, the problem becomes you're not asking the right questions to the right person, right? You may even be talking to the wrong person that the question that you're asking of. So let me give you 5 smart questions to ask the pharmacy. Number 1 is, what's the cash price? I'll say it again. What's the cash price? I'll say it one more time. What's the cash price, not the insurance price? Is there a generic? Is there a cheaper alternative in the same class? Can you check a different quantity, 30 versus 90 days? and what's the price at another location, right? So just make sure that you guys keep that in mind. Real life scenarios. If you guys want to share one, I know Jonathan. If I'm not mistaken, I remember one time we were talking late night when your mother was still present with us, and you was expressing about it was a high prescription that she had, and the pharmacy wanted to charge or something like that. I remember it was something like that. But guys, I want to talk about real life scenarios, and this can be from parents with reoccurring meds, someone on multiple prescriptions, self-employed paying cash, high deductible insurance, or unexpected urgent prescriptions. And I'll give one of mine, life scenarios besides my mother's scenario when my father was still present with us at the time. I remember that my dad, he had to go to urgent care, not ER. He had to go to urgent care, and he had Medicaid. Excuse me, guys. He had Medicare, not Medicaid. And when he went to the urgent care, still had a copay because Medicare didn't cover the copay, and it wasn't for the visit; it was for the prescription. And that particular price for that prescription, I'll never forget. And here's what's crazy about this, and this is why I alluded to asking the right questions, because my dad went to Walgreens and the prescription was $175. Even with Medicare, it was still $175. And I'll be transparent. I wasn't as knowledgeable then as I am now to understand the right questions to ask the pharmacy. And it's crazy because the pharmacist knew exactly, was waiting on us to ask the right question. Because later on, I found out that pharmacist could have gave us options, alternative options. But it wasn't until I started to practice holistically to understand what those alternative options were. And then furthermore, what questions I could have asked that pharmacist to then have either a different alternative for my father because he couldn't afford the 175, or been able to give him something that was in the same class as what he was taking to meet demand and what my father needed. So that was a learning lesson for me. And that's the reason why, I am at a level of education to understand that those are just some of the 5 questions that you may want to ask a pharmacist. But that was my real life experience in regards to the pharmacy and things of that nature. Jonathan, can you share one? And Mr. Scott, can you share one as well? Again, Jonathan, you pick up where you want to pick up, but I do believe I remember us having a conversation, but the floor is yours, sir.
No, I'm gonna pick up exactly where you started, because that's the story that I would tell, is the fact that, when my mom was here, she had problems with prescriptions all over the place because they were so high. We talking about 200, almost even 300 in a sense. And then you only get in what, 10, 12 pills, if that, for something that costs about 150, 200, $300. So, and this, she came to me, we talked about it, and we tried to figure out other things. Now, mind you, I was in the same boat as Dr. Pitts. I wasn't educated on this stuff at first, but in that sense, it made me want to look up, other ways to afford prescriptions, because she really needed it. But we had to, again, look up a home remedy for what it is that she had, so that way she can get over, so she could get over the pain that she was dealing with at the time. But when I tell you, it was such a headache, because in the sense, you're looking for something when something as simple as asking the pharmacist, who, like you said, Doc, could have gave us the options or gave us a few choices and saying, hey, listen, if you do this, you can get this. Or no, these people want money. They want money is the root of all evil. And I would say that 10 toes down, because in the end of the day, if I can charge you a certain amount of money, and then that gets money in my pocket, I'm only worried about, if I'm that type of person, I'm only worried about what's in my pocket, not about the lifestyle that you have to live, or the things that you have to go through, or how you even got the money to get the prescription. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, I'll expand on that because it was tough. Because then to see her deteriorate until, you know, her to the day that she passed, it was something no one wants to ever go through, because you're trying to look for something to help your loved one, but you can't find it because you don't have the money to afford it, or, you know, you're trying to get up this, that, and the third, but by the time you get something up, it's too late.
So,
It's too late.
yeah.
And now we have to deal with that. And so, you know, unfortunately my mother passed, you know, on January 28th last year. But that really made me think, in the sense like, wow, look at the world today, in the sense that, you know, you can get charged, and because you can't afford something, you know what I'm saying, that's going to put you in a position to count your days, in the sense to where you're looking at your loved one go from healthy to losing weight to barely recognizable, and now you're putting them 6 feet under. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a life-changing experience. But in the sense, you know, again, I'm gonna go back to, you have not because you ask not.
Yeah.
You gotta ask the questions. You gotta ask, because if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yep.
You don't know. You cannot assume, because if you're assuming, you're gonna miss the mark. You're gonna miss the blessing. You're gonna miss whatever it is that you were supposed to get, because you're quiet, because you're not saying anything. You're not opening up your mouth. As you can see, I can talk. I'm gonna talk and figure something out. I'm gonna ask these questions, because I'm not leaving until I find an answer to the question or a solution. I'm a solution type person. I will provide you with a solution, and if I don't have it, I'm gonna find it. So at the end of the day, you know, with everything that's going on, I just say, hey man, listen, we gotta find the solution to take care of the problem, so we can present it to the people, so that way they know where to go, when to go, how to go, why to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, I can just remember seeing my grandfather, who lived, guys, till 103 years old before he passed. He's one of the longest standing members of Omega Psi Phi in Houston, Texas, 75 years. And he, for the most part, his health was very good in those upper years before he passed. And the way you would know that with him is that, guys, you already know that if you can play dominoes and play it very well, that's a mindset game, right? Anticipating your opponent's move before they know what's going on, right? So long story short, I've been in the lab for years trying to see how did he make it that long and keep his health and his mental state of mind intact. You know, he did take some pharmaceutical drug medications, but one thing I did see is that for the masses of people, and even including himself, it wasn't just one. It was a couple of them that he took. And that's because if you think about it, most medications and prescription drugs that we take have side effects. Those side effects eventually lead to what? You taking more prescription meds to counterattack that one. Because as we know, the longer you stay on one, eventually that side effect that is disclosing to you is going to catch up with you to where you're going to need something else that the doctor's going to prescribe to take the edge off of whatever you're experiencing when you come in the doctor's offices and say, hey, I've been on this now for 3 months, doc, or 6 months, and now I'm feeling a couple of these kind of ailments. Well, let's prescribe you something for that too, right?
Right.
And so before long, you're on several meds, and you may not need to be on all of those, right? So that's just where I digress and say that, you know, it is all falls back to greed, and that's the bottom line, really.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you, Jonathan. Guys, listen, you know, there is, however, like Mr. Scott mentioned, that, you know, it's something that you're just not going to do, and it's going to be here for forever. There's nothing that we can do about it. We can bicker, we can complain, and we can give our, you know, our peace quarrels that we may create, and we can march all over the world. but they're not going to go anywhere. However, since that's the case, we decided to create a solution. So there is a membership that gives you access to free medications on an acute formulary and a chronic formulary level. And if you want to know what that particular program is, my advice, my recommendation would be to reach out to Mr. Jonathan and Mr. Carl Scott himself, and they can help you with getting that. We have 918 people on this live, and I'm sure that you guys can, reach out to them. So with that being said, Mr. McFarland, can you please tell everybody how can they get in contact with you, how they can connect with you? Tell everybody who you are and what you do as well, Mr. McFarland.
Yeah, so, yes, my name's Jonathan McFarland. I am one of the ambassadors here. And I just want to listen, 404-883-9226. I'm going to say it one more time, 404-883-9226. Text me your name and let's talk. Let's talk, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to save as many people as I can, just in having the peace of mind of knowing that you can get what you need to get without having to spend so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Scott, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you. Tell everybody who you are and what you do as well, sir.
Guys, y'all can get in contact with me at carlwscott.com. That's CARLWScott.com, and 832-895-1455. That's 832-895-1455. I am the owner of the Resource Group out here in Houston, Texas. We specialize in resources that aid and enhance the business professional, and also concerned about their health and well-being. With that being said, we specialize in AI and ChatGPT integration, workshops and classes that better enhance your understanding of how to use AI and use it from a strategic standpoint. We have a full-blown insurance agency with over 280 agents. So we deal in annuities, IUL, whole life, and health. So we are a robust firm, and we're here to help. And turn it right back over to you, Dr. Pitts.
Well, listen, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, holding in on us. This was an amazing conversation, amazing topic, and that's what it's about, just giving you guys access to education, and then along with a solution to that education. And as you guys know, my name is Dr. Casual Pitts, and you already know my quote: coming together is the beginning, sticking together is progress, but working together is success. Please tune in for the next roundtable discussion. Peace.